All right, folks, welcome back for another deep dive. And, we like to look at all sorts of different stories and topics. And today we're going to be diving deep into Montana basketball.
Montana basketball.
Yeah. And, you might not think that Montana basketball is like the most exciting thing in the
Yeah.
world, but trust us, there's a good reason to be paying attention.
Yeah, there
So
is.
we're going to be talking about why Montana basketball is actually making waves right now,
Yeah,
and who some of these key players are, and why you should care about this sort of like hidden gem in the sports world.
absolutely.
And maybe we'll even see some upsets come March Madness. Who knows?
Yeah, well, we're going to talk about that too.
Let's dive in. All right. So first of all, I think it's important to kind of set the scene here, right? We've got two teams, both from Montana, that are really making a name for themselves nationally.
Yeah, and that's what's so wild about this is that they're both from the same state.
Right.
We're talking about the Montana Grizzlies from Missoula and the Montana State Bobcats from Bozeman.
Right. And they're both representing not just their state, but also the Big Sky Conference.
Absolutely. And, Grizzlies, they've got a history of strong performances. They've been to the NCAA tournament a good amount, but the Bobcats, they're kind of the new kids on the block.
Right. They're the up-and-comers.
Exactly. And it just goes to show you don't need to be a Power 5 school to really make a splash in college basketball.
Exactly. It's all about the heart.
That's right.
Speaking of heart,
Mm.
I think one thing that's really exciting about both of these teams is just the talent that they have on display.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, particularly you look at the Grizzlies, they got some dynamic guards who can really score the basketball.
Yeah, they can light it up.
But then on the flip side, you've got the Bobcats, and they have some dominant big men,
Oh, man, they're huge.
like really big guys who can control the paint.
Yeah, you don't want to mess with them down low.
So it's an interesting contrast in styles,
Mm.
but both teams are known for their hustle. They're going to leave it all out on the court.
That's right. They play with a lot of heart, and they're both really well coached.
Exactly. And I think that really kind of leads into this idea of the underdog mentality, right?
No, absolutely.
Montana teams, they always seem to embody that classic underdog spirit.
Yeah, they may not always be in the spotlight, but they play with a chip on their shoulder.
Right. Like they've got something to prove.
Exactly. And isn't that what we love about sports? Rooting for the underdog who overcomes the odds.
Exactly. And speaking of overcoming the odds, I think both of these teams have the potential to make some noise in March Madness.
Oh, absolutely. They could be primed for some upsets.
I mean, we've seen it before, right?
Oh, yeah.
We've seen Montana teams make deep runs in the tournament, and this year feels like it could be special.
Yeah, it does. And, at the end of the day, it's not about the size of the school. It's about the size of the fight and the team.
Right, exactly. And so I guess the question is, why should you care about Montana basketball,
Hmm.
right? Like, why should people be paying attention to this?
Well, I think it's a reminder that greatness can come from anywhere.
Right.
You don't have to be a big name program to achieve amazing things. And there's something really inspiring about that.
Yeah, and there's something really fun about rooting for the underdog, right? Like you're kind of invested in their story and their journey.
Absolutely. And these Montana teams, they've got a great story to tell.
So to wrap things up, we've got two teams on the rise, the Montana Grizzlies and the Montana State Bobcats, both playing with that underdog mentality, both ready to prove themselves on the national stage.
And they're both representing the Big Sky Conference, which is a conference that deserves a lot more respect.
Absolutely.
And then, of course, there's the potential for some March Madness magic. We could be seeing some Cinderella stories unfold right before our eyes.
So the question is, are these teams the next Cinderella story, or is there still more to prove?
That's a great question, and I guess we'll have to wait and see how it all plays out.
That's right. So keep an eye on Montana basketball, folks. You won't want to miss what happens next.
Yeah, you definitely won't.
All right, thanks for joining us for another deep dive. We'll be back soon with more fascinating stories from the world of sports.
See you next time.